Does anyone remember the state of music back during shutdown? We were hoping for artists to bring out their best creative work, but instead we ended up having massive flops, one after the other. Don't get me wrong, there were exceptions, and one of which is the topic of this video, Miss Coco Jones. Jones had the beauty, the talent, and the struggles. Struggles her audience knew all too well. If the industry wasn't going to notice her, they would. If they weren't going to give her opportunities to shine, her fans would. And if the industry thought she didn't look the part, her fans created parts for her. Let's get into it. Coco Jones, in my opinion, is the people's R&B princess. All of her wins are also wins for her supporters, because her fandom had a big hand in reigniting her career. We all know the story. It started from a viral tweet, but looking at what that tweet sparked in people was amazing to see. After hearing Coco's story of being let down by the industry, people started campaigning online, striving to increase her online presence. Soon enough, her online buzz translated to industry work, and she got casted in the hit show Bel Air and got signed to Def Jam. Since then, she's gotten her first R&B hit, invited to prestigious events, gotten loads of brand deals, and has been winning some awards. And I think I know why Coco's been having a winning streak. It's two things. It's her story and her being at the right place at the right time.
Everyone was like, she's such a star. Oh my gosh, like she's the next big thing. Like it just felt like, maybe I am a star.
Yeah.
Then you got humbled.
I mean, yeah. And then I got, woo!
And then you got humbled.
So never again.
I know I touched on her story earlier, but if you look a little deeper at it, it works on multiple levels. First off, there are themes of racism, mental health struggles, and spirituality. Like when she talks about doing everything she could and it's still not working out for her, I feel like people can relate to those things, especially after being in shutdown.
Yes.
So basically, long story short, I think it was just a matter of not the right team as well as not enough people pushing me to success through those barriers. You know what I'm saying? Like when I got these deals and like things, etc., they weren't catered to a black girl. Like it was like, you got this, but give it white. And I was like, how though? You know, like, so I feel like they weren't thinking, okay, how do we make this black girl work? It was more, how do we make this formula work on this black girl, you know?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was like the best summary I could give that right now. I just really ate that up.
So all these relatable elements made her one of us. And there are pros in continuing to hear her story. Not only does it make people care about her, but it makes her more relatable and shows her tenacity. Her story is the perfect example of an underdog. And who doesn't want to help an underdog? Along with that, I'm sure her fandom loves hearing about the role they played in her come up. Her story is also a thank you letter to her fans in some way. It also shows how humble she is and how much she cares for her fans. She knows how important they are. She doesn't call them co-captains for nothing. Also, every time she tells her story, it feeds the soul. It's like there's a sage element to Coco whenever she tells her story, because there's always some lesson that comes out in these interviews. And when I'd watch them, there'd be people in the comment section talking about, I needed to hear this, preach, etc. And I know Coco knows how powerful her story is and how useful it is, because she makes sure to talk about it in almost any interview she does. This is just a side tangent. Here's what I really like about Coco. She takes advantage of every opportunity she's given.
Yes, I did that. And you would do it too for a check. I was an employee. And I was going to get Employee of the Month. And that's on period.
And it reminds me of Keke Palmer. She's ambitious, but not desperate. If she's going to succeed, she's going to make sure to follow her values. Like, I love a celeb who's doing the calculations the right way. The industry isn't all about talent. There's so many different factors to consider when you want to succeed. Her team is doing their job for real. And it's real easy to mess up when you don't understand who you are or what your appeal is. Some of these other girls don't know that much, and it's baffling. Another reason why Coco is progressing so well is she popped off at the right time. What's that saying? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. That's Coco to a T. When Coco first got introduced to us when she was a teenager on Disney, literally most aspects of the industry was very much white, and color didn't start showing up until like the mid to late 2010s. Jones couldn't really be successful as a child star because no one was checking for minority kids at the time. Even the black teen stars that made some headway back then aren't on the same level as their white counterparts now. On the music side of things, too, it was very much white. There weren't a lot of teen artists of color. There were a lot of white ones, though. You know, you got your pick. But again, for black people, little to no options. And I remember there were some minority teen acts that were trying to break through, but they just weren't as successful. In general, music was very much EDM, true pop sounding stuff, until hip hop started to creep into the mainstream around 2014. And that's when we started to see more melanin topping the charts, bringing us to the 2020s, where black women are some of the top artists in the world, and they're doing R&B, pop, hip hop. So the genre and the racial attitudes are in place, and I'd argue Coco's phenotype came in handy too. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but early 2020s, there were so many light-skinned blackish women that the industry was shoving in our faces. Artists that had too much drama and not enough talent to make up for it. And on top of that, they had overinflated egos. People were really out here thinking that they were on par with world-renowned artists. Consumers were ticked off at the mediocrity and were looking for artists with talent along with varying phenotypes. A climate perfect for Coco Jones.
Now people are like, we support you. We're not gonna they're not gonna fumble your bag. We're in your corner. I was like, okay.
The
What's
Sea
going on?
Hive. Yeah. The Sea Hive.
A climate I'd argue Normani helped create, reminding the public that dark-skinned artists are still marketable. An opportunity Coco took advantage of as soon as she signed with Def Jam. Dropping music consistently, eventually dropping an EP, then collabing with The Babyface and performing on talk shows, award shows. The rest is history. Before I end this video, I want to talk about the importance of black platforms. I mentioned how the consumers were an integral part of Coco's success, but make no mistake, black platforms were just as integral. Most of Coco's fans are black, and being big on the internet is great, but to get that industry success, you need the industry. As being black, the type of industry platforms that are most likely to listen to black people and most likely to propel black entertainers are the BET Awards, NAACP Image Awards, Soul Train Awards, Essence, Ebony, etc., etc.
My mama and my family are right there, so I'm so happy. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you so much, BET. I remember when I did 106 in Park with y'all, I was 16 in them tight little gray skinny jeans and my sneakers. It's been a long journey. Thank you guys for rocking with me the whole time. Thank you so much to my culture who has stood beside me, and we were raised together. You know, it's been a really long journey. Thank you so much to my team. Thank you guys for taking the chance on me. I didn't have anything going for me at that time, so thank you. And I just want to thank God so much for keeping me when I didn't understand, and for all of my black girls. We do have to fight a little harder to get what we deserve, but don't stop fighting. Even when it doesn't make sense and you're not sure how you're gonna get out of those circumstances, keep pushing, because we are deserving of great things, y'all. And I'm gonna continue to give y'all my everything. Thank you guys so much.
I have a lot of criticisms about the BET Awards, and don't get me started on the NAACP Awards. But when I see this, I'm reminded of why these platforms are so needed. We have a lot of talent to offer the world. We also come in a variety of phenotypes that can be celebrated. So seeing this reminds me that black validation can just be as good as the mainstream, and we need to have our own establishments to honor ourselves. So even though there's a lot of mediocrity out there, if there's a chance to propel the better acts above the fray to give them their flowers, I'm here for it. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe.